It's like I relive it every time something pops or a loud bang happens. I see a big cloud of dirt, and seconds later, boom. The chatter on the radios went from silent to out-of-control chaos. This is Blackjack 4, Legion 8 was just hit. I see a green glow stick fly out of the downed vehicle. A sign we had designated in case something like this would happen. They were all okay. Could this really be happening 2 months before heading back to the States? Something tragic like this could happen. I will never forget the day our convoy was hit by an IED. I will be classifying the different types of improvised explosive devices found overseas. I have been studying this topic for several weeks and I have vigorous training in identifying IEDs. Today I will share with you the components of a package type, suicide bomb, and vehicle-borne IEDs and the damages they can cause. You might find yourself asking, what is an IED? An IED is short for improvised explosive device, also known as a homemade bomb. An IED is easy to make, easier to hide, and can be very destructive. There are 5 components to an IED. A power supply, like a battery, a main charge, like homemade explosives, which go inside, a container, like this cup, to hold the explosives, a detonator to set off the main charge, which is this right here, and a switch to set off the device, which is the spring in here. Once made, the insurgents tend to use one of 3 methods for delivering this weapon. Most often, they conceal it in a package-type IED, and it can be hidden in plain sight or buried. Insurgents have gone to the lengths of even hiding the package-type IEDs and the carcasses of an animal along military convoy routes. Package-type IEDs can be command detonated either by wire or a remote device. Here I have what is called a pressure IED. And the way this works, this is usually hidden, and when a soldier is out doing patrols to find such things like IEDs, if he were to step on it, the charge from the battery connects to the charge of the detonator. So when he steps on it, there you go, he's dead. You might, I'm sorry. Another form of delivery is the form of a suicide bomb. Such IEDs are strapped to a person using a belt or a vest and is worn under the clothing. The pockets of these garments contain explosives and bits of shrapnel, though everything from the bomber's wrist to the bones in his body become shrapnel with this tactic. This vest has the same components as a packaged IED. On the website, How Stuff Works, under How Suicide Bombers Work, by Robert Lamb, he states, a handler accompanies a suicide bomber to the proposed scene of an attack. In addition to guiding and encouraging the attacker, the handler also sometimes triggers the explosion remotely by the use of a cell phone or other wireless device. Finally, insurgents use the truck or bed of a vehicle to deliver such weapons. This is classified as a vehicle-borne IED, or VBID for short. As stated on globalsecurity.org, functioning of devices can vary within the same methods as the package types and have the same common characteristics or indicators as other IEDs. VBIDs come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. Larger vehicles enable larger amounts of explosives that can be used, resulting in a greater effect. These explosives are packed on a VBID ranges from 100 pounds to over 1,000 pounds. With more explosives come bigger damages. The video I'm about to show you was shot by Taliban. They strategically sent in the truck with explosives to damage the walls of Camp Salerno in June 2012. After creating an entry point, 5 suicide bombers entered the fob and opened fire. Of course, this is the vehicle that they're sending in. And the Taliban are actually recording this themselves. as seen in the video, IEDs can create serious damage. On the website, How Stuff Works, under How IEDs Work, Craig Frederick explains how an IED causes damage. Like any other bomb, IEDs explode. When the primary charge explodes, gases heat up and expand rapidly outward under pressure. The expansion creates shock waves or blast waves. The heat from the explosion also causes fire. So an IED explosion causes damages to vehicles and property primarily through the blast wave, heat, and fires. He also states that explosion can create debris from secondary impacts. This debris can impact the body in many places, leading to lacerations, bleeding, broken bones, and loss of limbs. The pressure in a blast wave can rupture your eardrums and slam your brain against the side of your skull, causing a concussion, blindness, deafness, and swelling of the brain. In this first picture, this is a vehicle of our convoy that was hit by a pressure IED. I'm sorry, I correct myself. It was a remote IED because we never found the trigger person. The driver suffered a concussion, the gunner suffered back injuries, and the co-driver suffered a broken bone. The other picture is of the dining facility at FOB Salerno after the VBID attack in 2012. Today I have classified different types of IEDs, package type, suicide bomber, and vehicle-borne IEDs. I have also shared with you the components and damages of these IEDs. I hope I was able to share some of my knowledge with you today, and next time you're watching Olympus Has Fallen or Zero Dark 30, you will be able to identify the types of IEDs they use. Thank you.
Is that really all it is?
Yes.
I know how to make a bomb.
Deborah, what did you think?
I really like how she knew what she was talking about. She gave us the little letters and then the definition of the letters. I don't know how to explain it, like the IED, and she told us what each letter meant. I liked how she really explained where the bombs are used and how they're used. I liked how she was reading, but she was also making eye contact with us, and she wasn't like just standing in one place. It was very interesting and clear to me.
Okay. Yeah, I like the description of the experience that you had at the beginning as your attention device. I do think you want to make it, there was a little bit of ambiguity that it was an experience that you actually went through, and I think we finally figured that out. I think that could be a little bit clearer, but I thought it was good at introducing the subject. We've got a good identification of what the topic is, and your thesis is also pretty clear. There's a very excellent preview of what the supporting structure is going to be, so you do a good job there. I'd agree the definitional stuff is pretty solid. The description of the pressure IED that you showed us with the object here is interesting. Like I said, people are interested in objects. The pictures are one thing, but you've got something that people can see, and it seems to pull people's attention in pretty well. And I thought you had a good explanation of that whole sequence. I'm not sure that we should be having a good explanation of that whole sequence. It makes me a little bit nervous about that, but I appreciated the detail that you went into on that. I did see that there was source citations extensively on the second and the third points. On the first point, it sounds like you're relying on your experience to talk about those things. The visuals, like I said, I thought you handled the object well. The Taliban video is, of course, horrifying and dramatic, and so that gets our interest in the material pretty effectively. I thought you did a good job in introducing that into the presentation. I think we need a little bit more context about the pictures at the end that are talking about your own experience. I think it's kind of odd to me that the part of the speech that is needs the most minor adjustments is the stuff that's personal to you, you know, your own experience. And that's often the case when people are talking about something firsthand. They think, well, I know what I'm talking about, and I can just say it this way. But you often have to look at it from the point of view of the audience. What was going on? What's the context? Put it in the course of a story or a sequence. Explain what went through the process, what the consequence was, where it was happening, and then it'd make a little bit more sense. That's, you know what you're talking about, but you got to think about it from the point of view of the audience. It's a little bit unclear as a consequence, and I thought the other things were much clearer, which is a little bit strange. It did seem like that that second section about the suicide bombers went by a little quick, and maybe a little more content could be appropriate there. All right, thank you.